Hey, welcome back. This is Coach Parker again with my youth football coaching clinic that I gave to my youth football league that I coach with. I give this presentation to our new entering coaches to our league every season, and this is a continuation of that presentation via video here. I think we're about on our 8th article and video blog, so we're starting kind of the meat of the presentation now, really probably what everybody's most interested in, the 3 phases of football. George Allen, the coach of the Washington Redskins back in the 70s, football is 1/3 offense, 1/3 defense, and 1/3 special teams. The big thing on this note is do not forget special teams in youth football. It will win you many, many games, and you will lose many games because of special teams. But right now we're going to get right into offense. And so offense, the thing that I see with a lot of rookie coaches and not so good coaches is they don't have a real playbook. You can't just draw up some plays on napkins and come to practice. I mean, you can, but eventually those plays that you draw up need to be vetted out, put down on paper, organized, and really come up with a series of plays to back that play up so that when you do call it, no one can know that you're basically calling that play. I know a lot of coaches, I can read when they get into formation, a certain kid going somewhere, I know what play is going to be run because I watch film. So make sure you come up with a real playbook with series of plays that set plays up. I mean, that's really the key. And this presentation right here is in PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint. It's a presentation software. I draw up all my plays in PowerPoint. It has a drawing tool there. Works out really good. It's easy to move to PDFs and to email around to other folks. Many people have it on their machine, unlike some of the specialty software, playbook software that's out there. A lot of people don't have that software. So if you use PowerPoint, you can usually send it to your assistant coaches and they have a copy and can update things. So try to have a real playbook. And also I print off plays and give to my running backs and skill players, and even some of my defensive schemes I give to my skill players. And it has worked out good for us being able to do that. Your offense, a lot of guys, they say, I want to run the spread or I'm going to run this before they even look at the personnel that they get recruiting or they draft. And you really can't base your offense on what you want to run. It really has to be on what players you drafted or recruited or the league's giving you. If you've got 4 fullbacks and no tailback, a sweep type offense, maybe a spread type offense isn't going to work for you. Maybe a power I is going to be better if you've got all those fullbacks. So you really need to look at, if you think you're going to run a spread, do you have the quarterback and do you have the 2 or 3 receivers? If you don't, the spread's really not going to work for you. So really you need to base your offense based on your personnel. You can have some ideas of what offense you want to run. I usually have 4 or 5 ideas of what I want to do, but you really need to work with your personnel and not force a scheme down on your players. The other thing that I see a lot of coaches do is because they set low expectations for their kids. Just heard the other day one of our young division coaches said, "Oh, those guys can't learn holes and numbering and in like the 5 and 6-year-olds," and that's just not true. Youth players' minds right now are sponges, and they can soak up anything if you teach it correctly. So we start learning holes and positions and play calling, our language, day 1. We start doing that and we repeat that at every practice. And that's the key. You must start learning holes, positions, play calling language day one. We get right into it, and we rep it, and that's the key. The other thing in youth football offense is the sweep and the run are more important in youth football. This is not the NFL or NCAA or even high school football. To be honest, a lot of high schools run the spread and try to pass, and it doesn't work. I see that here a lot. But in youth football, the sweep is king and the run. So, if you think you're going to come in, now look, I'm going to say this, but there's 24, 25 seasons I've coached youth football. There's really been one season when I've seen the spread work. And that is one out of like 24 seasons. So that's because they had a neighbor kid that was friends with the quarterback, and they were both tier 1 players, and it just worked. But 99% of the time, a spread and a passing offense in youth football, especially under grade 5, that's just not probably going to work. So you really need to rethink your idea on the spread and passing if you're coaching youth football. The passing percentage, you came up with this little rule. Your passing percentage should be the age of your player minus 3. So 8 years old minus 3 is 5%. 13-year-old is about 10%. And you can adjust that based on your talent, but you should be very careful if you're increasing those percentage points a little bit, just because there's so many things in a pass that can go wrong. The pass can go wrong, the blocking can go wrong, and the receiver doesn't catch. And I can tell you from experience, just this last season, I coached a senior team, a bunch of 6th graders. We had what I thought was really the talent to run a spread. I had 2 quarterbacks, one maybe the best passing quarterback I've had, and we just couldn't catch the ball consistently. We could not move the ball consistently throughout the game, so we basically went back into a double wing kind of offense. So I guess that's enough on passing the football and youth football. Hopefully you've gotten that point. Again, you may be that 0.5% that has the talent. Great, I'm jealous. But on average, you need to sweep and run the ball and set up that type of offense. The other thing that I forget all the time is you really need to work on your quarterback and center exchange every day. Before practice, during practice, after practice. Your center needs to be snapping at home, especially if you're running a shotgun or a hybrid type of shotgun. So those are really kind of base keys for offense there. Let's move on to the next slide here. Over these 20 seasons I've talked about coaching here, I've kind of come up with some little goals that I like to set on offense. I've found that if I score 22.5 points in a game, 99.9% I win that game. And that's because basically it eats up the clock. It's good clock management. And other teams, it's usually hard to score on my defense. So that's usually kind of the offensive goal there as far as points. I do want to eat up the clock quite a bit. Excuse me, I don't want to turn the ball over. I mean, that should be, a goal. You just remind your quarterbacks, do not turn the ball over. Work on that. We basically want positive yards each play, 3+. We do not want negative yardage. I'm definitely more of a field position clock management coach, probably because I'm a defensive-minded coach. We want positive yards, and I know one of the plays, if you've read my blog at coachparker.org, I'm big on the beast formation, because that single wing Yale formation from the early years of football, you just don't lose yardage on that formation. So Definitely positive yardage. Try to cut our penalties down. No offsides, no holding, no screwball penalties that'll ruin a drive. This is really a huge goal for us. No muff snaps or handoffs. Just not turning the ball over. And the key for us, because I guess probably because I'm a defensive coach, I don't want to give the ball back to the other team within our 25-yard line. Even the 30-yard line, that's tough on your defense not to let them score just by a sheer luck play. So you really want to get outside that 25-yard line if you can. And those are my base offensive goals that I go into every game with. Some of the offensive formation and best plays for youth football that have worked really well for me, and I've basically played most of these, if not all. I formation used quite a bit. That's a very simple formation to teach. I formation, I wing kind of thing. That is in our current offense, and we use that quite a bit. You can really run inside the tackles a lot. I'm a big proponent of the double wing and sort of a spread out double wing called the spin offense, which is, they're very similar on the type of counter action and power action that you get out of that. Love the single wing. I run this beast, which is a Yale kind of single wing. Dave Caesar and Jack Reed, both big youth football authors, run types of single wing offenses, and you get a lot of information there on that. Wing T, there's a ton of information on that. Haven't really run that one before. Run a straight T, that never worked out for us. I have run the spread and run a couple of plays out of it, but they're mostly running plays out of the spread, not so much passing plays, although last season we did try to pass more. Love the power I formation. I grew up in high school in a power I. If you don't have a tailback, the power I, we got to the Super Bowl without a true tailback, running a power I formation, undefeated. And then Super Bowl, we just got outplayed by speed. Have run some wishbone before. That hasn't really worked out for me as well, but I know other teams run the wishbone really well. And then the pistol. The pistol seems to be getting a lot of traction because there's a lot of run plays out of the pistol. It's kind of like a diamond formation out of the gun, and then you can pass. I do like that and have got some plays that I'm starting to bring into my offense out of the pistol. So those are some of the formations that you'll see in a youth football and that I kind of like. But the 3 or 4 that I really stick with are the I formation, double wing, single wing, and the power I. Those are kind of the 4 that I go with. And then in the single wing, I kind of have a beast. Now, I do have a couple of spread plays in there, but we run out of them in kind of a trips overloaded set. The best plays in youth football, really, the sweep is the pass. If you get outside and you have the speed, the sweep does it. Stretch sweep, off tackle play, lead dive, fullback blast. Don't forget about the wedge. Love the wedge. I had a team, we would score with the wedge, like 40-yard plays. So I also love counter and reverses, especially when you got a youth football defense. It's very hyperactive and moves a lot. Counters and reverses will kill them. I absolutely love the pop pass. Tight end, quick little one-step pop really kills defenses that are up and tight on you. And then I run a beast tank, which is kind of a power lead, flying wedge, off tackle play. And really love that play. Every league I brought that play into, other teams start to run that. So that formation, that play really works good. Look, in youth football, offense is really not about the quarterback so much. I know a lot of parents, want their son to play quarterback. It's really not that. To me, the quarterback in youth football is really more of a manager. He's smart. He can hand off. That's not to say if you get a good quarterback, you don't want one. But you can win a lot of games without the quarterback being your best player on your team. So don't go stick your tail back at quarterback under center and hand off the ball or pass a lot, because you're not benefiting the team if you've got your fastest player at quarterback and he's not really running the ball downfield. So don't get stuck up on this quarterback thing. We've usually, had to move our fourth or fifth best player to quarterback and then hand off to our better players so we could get them outside and have them run the ball and do other things. So don't get enamored by the quarterback position. What is a good youth football offense? Well, it's organized and prepared for your opponent's defense. You need to know where your opponent's weaknesses are and really take advantage of those weaknesses. You should have a proven playbook. You really need to have simple and effective blocking calls and techniques. You need to put more blockers and defenders at the point of attack. I really am into misdirection and fakes. One fake is worth 2 blocks. So misdirection plays, especially on a highly mobile defense, works out great. Your play should be in a system, a series of plays, so you can set these up. Otherwise, they're easy to see what you're going to do. So, your plays really, you should have 4 or 5 plays in a series of plays around maybe a favorite play, so you can try to hide that play and set that play up. Make sure your offense is simple enough for your talent. Make sure your plays callers are simple. If you've got a really heady group, you can get more complicated, and I tend to do that and try to recruit very, very smart players so we can put a lot of complicated stuff in. But if you don't have that type of talent, you got to keep your offenses simple. And to be honest with you, I've seen coaches that had 6 plays and win Super Bowls, and folks like us that have over 100 plays win Super Bowls. So it's just what philosophy works good for you there. I am not a passer in youth football, so very few pass plays, but have the pass plays you do have, make sure they're very effective and you can hit those about 75% of the time. And look, you've got to have talent and you've got to have good coaches. Those are your X factors. I mean, you still have to have tier 1 players, especially a tier 1 tailback, that think you're going to win your league Super Bowl. The same thing with coaching. You've got to have good coaching. I can't tell you what a good line coach or a good defensive coach, good assistant coaches matter big time, that are on board with your philosophy and that you mesh well together. You still have to have talent and good coaching with these fundamental things that we've just talked about. Linemen, are really the heroes of the game. I see so many coaches that do not talk about their or coach their linemen or even put anything in for their linemen. So they have, 8 to 10 kids standing around a lot. You really need to have somebody focused on your linemen and talking to your linemen and making up calls. We started this many seasons ago, and it's a big deal. You can win a lot of games with not so good running backs if you know how to block. And really some blocking fundamentals here we'll talk about on the next video. But you can look at this slide here. I'll go into blocking quite a bit on my next video. Thanks for joining me regarding our youth football offense and this coaching clinic. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comment section. Please like this video if you like it, so I know that we'll do more. Again, this is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org signing off. And, of course, play for fun. And remember, winning is much funner. Thanks. Have a great day.